What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the meditations on our most recent Star Wars Shatterpoint Battle Report, and good golly, I got rolled. And I don't mean that like the dice were bad for me. I think I overall had generally pretty decent dice.
Yeah.
But you had some really hyper-efficient turns there.
For sure.
There's a couple moments that I think were very much swaying it in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
One such moment was when I forgot to strain the B2s.
Yes.
I should have strained the B2s.
It was, you had some back and forth on whether or not you were going to strain them. You wound up
No. I just rolled in. I forgot to even think about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I should have strained them. I had the force to do it.
Oh, right, from the coordinated fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had the force to do it, so I should have just strained them. Because I think at that point the 501st weren't wounded yet either.
Yeah, maybe.
So I wouldn't have even had to spend anything. So I think that was mistake number one. I should have strained them. Because by not straining them, it allowed you to move a B2 over to there. It allowed you to do a whole bunch of things, right? So that was mistake number one. I think, well, that was my big mistake right there. Then your Grievous activation over here was just horribly efficient.
I started looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, I could do some neat stuff, and then I saw the combination of Onward and Appetite for Destruction, like, oh, yeah, if a B2 dashes twice, that's a lot of movement.
Well, I think the funny thing as well is that you were just trying to dash out of range so you could shoot Rex. Yeah. And then I'm like, yeah, and you take this point too, you know?
Yeah.
So that was an incredibly efficient turn by Grievous there, taking Rex down, taking 2 points, really swinging the first struggle your way.
Yes.
Right? Really swinging it your way. And then Django over here, man.
Django.
They need to do something about.
They do.
Not so fast. The fact that it can just outright end an activation is.
It feels very, very powerful and very, very cool and kind of in flavor. Be like, oh, Django's just getting them before they do anything. And then you look up from the board and see your opponent's face and you go, oh no.
It's one of those things. I mean, I've been a wargamer long enough that I roll with it, right?
Yeah.
It is, for sure. It is what it is, whatever. But it feels bad.
It feels, I've been on the receiving end of it more times than I like to count.
Yeah.
And it feels raw.
It's way too powerful for what it can potentially do for you. Like just being able to outright stop an action is just really, really rough there. What they can do to fix, I have no idea. That's not where I'm kind of at here, but it's for it costing one force and being that influential is massive because you shut down Luke's turn. Now, let's be honest here. Luke did not have a lot of good options anyway.
He couldn't jump off of his identity or his tactics ability because of the strain. He would have had to recover the strain, and then he can't do too much from his position on one action.
Yeah.
But going from I can't do much to I can't do anything is
it's
big.
It's a big
like it would have changed Maul's turn if Luke was just there. Like if Luke was on that point, it changes what he did there.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to take that point back. You're not scoring 4 just as easily, right? So yeah, it does end up being a big thing. But it is what it is. I will say this: I'm very happy to see that your Grievous finally showed up and did cool stuff.
Grievous, like I know it was such a big swing turn, and it may feel a little bad, but man, that felt good to play.
Why do you feel bad about that? You played Grievous, you played him well, he did great stuff for you. There's nothing to feel bad about on that one.
He did all the things Grievous has never done for me before, and that felt amazing.
No, and I think that's for sure it. Like I think there's nothing wrong with feeling good that your guys did good stuff, right? And that's the thing. Like you had a lot of really good efficient actions in this game. Kalani didn't do a whole lot, but he got a lot of people on points.
Yep.
And then he hand cannoned someone, as he does.
It wasn't the craziest hand cannons I've seen ever, but they were still solid attacks.
Yeah. Your B2s constantly just sat on things, and they tanked damage from Anakin.
They took a lot of hits. They took a lot to go
Anakin, once again, Anakin proving why Anakin is not great in this game. He's very dice reliant. He has no dice fixing, and like the fact that he's got an entire lightsaber tree that has like only 1 crit on it, I think is a little ridiculous.
Yep, it's not ideal.
Because there was a bunch of times when even an extra crit would have been a big difference for me. Yep. But I needed those shoves as well. Yes. And I think it's ridiculous because I gotta look at other Jedi. I wonder how many other Jedi have like no crits, or at least because he even also just has 1/6 strike on an expertise on his other side. What is it? Shirasu? No, Form 5 Shen. And that's the thing. Like his Form 5 Shen tree, while it has the shoves on it, has an awful expertise
Shien has a fantastic amount of shoves and damage attached to those shoves, but the expertise does not back it up.
The expertise is trash in my opinion. It's not very good.
No, it's a good tree. It's not a good expertise tree.
Yeah, the expertise is really, really bad. And unfortunately, the Gemso is basically just like all damage all day with a little bit of stuff sprinkled in at 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, I think Anakin's tree is kind of his problem more than anything else. But it's unfortunate. I wanted to try something out. I don't think Anakin was horrible, but failing to take out the B2s without, because he attacked them 4 times.
Yeah.
I needed to attack the B2s 4 times to take out B2s.
Well, I mean, there's 4 of them, once each.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? Anakin was trash this game. Anakin was trash this game. 4 attacks to do 8 points of damage onto the B2s is not where he should be. I was very impressed with Luke for the most part.
Yep.
I think he did really well. You putting that strain on him, I probably should have, when I jumped back, I probably should have tried to stay down here so I was in engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing I was thinking is like maybe there's a world where I'm within 2. I had to eyeball it.
Yeah.
But I should have stayed down there and stayed engaged.
Mm-hmm.
I think is where I should have been, which is, it is what it is. I don't think that's where I lost the game, but I think it definitely hurt some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Luke did well. Honestly, I think the star of the show for me today was actually my Stormtroopers and Stormtrooper Sergeant.
They did some really good stuff today.
I think they're the ones who scored me all the points
Yeah.
and kept me in the game.
No, like, they did they moved around a lot, they played the objectives, they did some damage when it mattered. They did good stuff.
They did. Unfortunately, because they were the only ones really doing good stuff for me, I wasn't able to keep up with your thing. And
I mean, the 501st started off real strong.
Oh my goodness, the 501st. Here's the thing. I love the pin. I love that, number 1 pin. Cool. Awesome. Yep. But
they're still a little lacking.
If it was a pin in the damage,
it feels a lot better.
Wouldn't be broken. Yeah, not a pin in the damage. Just a little bit extra through. Now, mind you, like my attack rolls on that final one were just absolute trash. And yeah. You didn't even really need to roll good defense rolls there. It was just garbage rolls. I don't think I was taking the Magna Guard down anyway, but
no,
I might have been able to strain them.
Strain would have been solid.
Yeah, strain would have been solid. But and that's the thing. I think what generally happened here is 1 or 2 mistakes on my end, and generally my list underperforming is kind of what happened. Your list performed exactly as it was supposed to.
Yeah, I struggle to think of a model in this unit that didn't, like, the Magna Guards went down a little bit early, but like after they still did all the things they needed to do.
I was riding so friggin' high off that.
Yeah.
I thought I was in a great position. Then you just came back and won the first struggle after that stupid Grievous, ultra efficient activation.
Grievous, that swing was big.
That was huge. And I honestly have to wonder, should have I gone into Grievous instead of the B2s? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't love Grievous's defenses, even on his more defensive side.
I could have switched over to Gemso.
We discussed it a little bit that if you had gone, like, right after Grievous's turn, if you had gone into Grievous and he had gotten unexpertise, because of all the ingress points around where he was, he could have used the dash off his expertise to leave.
It's fair, but if I switched over to Gemso, I also could have potentially pinned you.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
I could have potentially pinned you. I could have also potentially, and I would have strained you on top of all that.
Mm-hmm.
So you leaving would have been like, okay, we'll take 3 more damage.
Yeah.
And by that point, that would have been 7 damage, leaving you on 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, it's, there's a bunch of things that could have happened, but I think generally what happened is you played your list well. They did what they needed to do, and you capitalized when I made a couple mistakes. I think is what it really boiled down to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of this game boils down to. The first person to blink. Right?
You know what? I don't disagree.
So,
you can kind of have a lot of back and forth, and if you can see what mistakes your opponent makes and you do know how to follow up on that, it can be a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I blinked first, and who knows? Maybe Rex would have been the pull instead of like reserving him, and maybe he could have done something. I don't know.
I was sitting there watching you mull over it, and I'm like, man, if he reserves it, it'd be really mean if that was Luke afterwards. And I'm like, wait, no, it's too mean. It's too mean.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it, Rex probably was the play, because I could have moved, defensive maneuvered, shot the Magna Guard, get 2 shoves off on him, take the point back. And
he definitely could have done stuff. I know you wanted someone a little more impactful, but
I wasn't seeing Rex's impact at the time, but I think that probably was what I should have done. So maybe that was mistake number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Rex probably should have gone, because the other thing is I wouldn't have even needed defensive maneuver. Rex could have moved himself with his tactic, then moved again, and then defensive maneuver.
Yeah.
Then I could have focused, attacked the Magna Guard, get like 2-3 successes on there. Like if I get 2 successes, it's 2 shoves. If I get 3 successes, it's still 2 shoves, because I don't think I think at that point I'm trying to take the point back from you. But still, it's stuff that could have happened, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I get lucky and get 4 in there and throw a pin in as well, which would have been absolutely amazing. So maybe that was the other mistake.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that was the other mistake there. I mean, it still means that as soon as Luke activates, he was still going to be dropped by Jango.
Yeah.
Still lose an activation. But at the very least, I would have had this point over here.
Yeah.
And I would have slowed things down.
For sure.
So that's what it is. Anyway, Alex, you good game. You played
game.
a tight game, and you deserve that win. So awesome stuff. So we will see you guys next time. Of course, if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/AegisBrand Studios, or go hit up iwargame.net. Use code AegisBrand to let them know that we sent you, and save 10% on one of these awesome battle mats. We'll see you next time. Happy wargaming.